Stadiums are more than just structures. They are the cathedrals of football, where history is written in every footstep on the pitch and every roar in the crowd. From the stands to the echoing in the concourses, they hold the stories of triumph and heartbreak. Each brick a testament to the beautiful game's legacy. But beyond their walls, how does a stadium design shape the pulse of the match day experience?
In this episode, lads, we explore the soul of these iconic arenas. We give away the top 5 stadiums we've witnessed ourselves, as well as some of the flops that we don't really like. And we ask ourselves, can the architecture of a stadium really capture the spirit of football, of the beautiful game?
Football Ultras! So, Fiago, how does the design of a stadium influence the atmosphere on match day? Do you have like an experience?
Yeah, bro, I think it plays a huge role. I think it plays a massive role. I think England is a prime example for that, where we have stadiums. Number one factor is being close to the pitch. In England, you're always close to the pitch. I think having a running track around the stadium completely ruins the atmosphere in England. Don't really have that, luckily. I think they just did that really, really on point in England. And you're very close. You feel the vibe of the game. When players score a goal, they run to the fans, celebrate in the fans. You know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you can't have that if you're not right at the pitch. This is massive. This is one point. But then also, I think the design of the roof, this plays a role as well. People underestimate that. And we might talk about that later as well. For example, Anfield, you know that it's loud. It's known as a loud stadium. But they have built the roof so well that it goes like it's kind of not fully straight. It goes kind of down. So it keeps the noise in. So these are just 2 factors, I think, already coming to my mind immediately that definitely increase the noise.
I think also there's a case with a lot of evidence. For example, West Ham, where they played at Upton Park. And the atmosphere there, every West Ham fan always said to me before I went to the new stadium, London Stadium, like, wow, the atmosphere was amazing there. You should have witnessed it. So I went to London Stadium and I was like, okay, so today I'm going to experience some good atmosphere. And it might have been one of the worst atmospheres I've ever been to at London Stadium. It was a derby against Watford, a London derby.
Yeah.
Blowing Bubbles, still an amazing song. So that was honestly goosebumps when I was there. But then it fell completely silent.
All game.
Yeah. And there was a running track. The away end is awful there. Every away fan hates to come there. So I think we have a lot of evidence there that the stadium plays such a big role.
And that's, as you said, that's an Olympic stadium they built for the London Olympics 2012. And that's just, it's not meant, I'm sorry, but it's not meant to be used as a football stadium. Obviously, I can understand why they use it. I mean, they have a huge attendance as well. I think they're always in the top 10 average attendance in the world, over 60,000 on average, which obviously they couldn't have gotten at the old stadium. It was smaller. But still, there are way more fans, and I agree. I've not been to West Ham, but I've talked to some fans that have been at the old stadium. They all said it was electric, and now it's like robotic a bit, right? So that's definitely a factor. That's definitely, and also on that note, of course, like the most obvious thing about stadium architecture is like, can you stand? Standing is always better for atmosphere, right? Obviously, that is not the case in most stadiums nowadays. But yeah, so just about that, like, does the architecture affect the match day experience? Like, I think it's one of the main things affecting the match day experience, actually.
Yeah, and also if you like do a deep dive into like the away fans, like where they sit. For example, in Germany, the Allianz Arena for Bayern München. Like every away fan I speak to hates it so much to go there because you have a big away end because the capacity of the stadium is 80,000.
Yeah, 75.
But you are completely in the top. Like you are so far away from your players. Like it must almost hurt to be there as an away fan and then get shit-faced with 5-6-0.
And that happens a lot.
That happens a lot at Bayern München, like, let's be honest.
Sadly.
And then the team comes to you, they clap a bit and they go off. And München is in the south of Germany, so most teams have to travel really far to it. I have so much respect for people going there. Let's just say respect.
Yeah.
And also with the Allianz Arena, it's really far outside the city. Like, how much do the surroundings of a stadium, such as a local community or culture, play a role in the atmosphere also beforehand and how that carries on throughout the game? Like, Do you have experience in
Yeah, I think that's massive. Even my recent stadium experience, I went to Everton, Goodison Park. So that's the first ever football stadium they built solely for football, like the first ever pure football stadium ever in the world.
Yeah, because it's really far outside of the city center.
It's not. No. It's right in the community. That's
Yeah,
the thing
okay, but Goodison
at
Park
Everton.
is far outside of Liverpool.
No, it's not.
It's 30-minute walk.
Yeah, but it's in a completely in a
Okay.
residential area. Stanley Park is like the park then in a like kind of in the north of Liverpool, and then we have Anfield. Obviously, Everton used to play there. They moved like 900 meters away. So that's I love that. It's you can see Anfield and Goodison Park from when you stand on the street. You can see both. Anfield's on the right, Goodison Park's on the left, and that's just iconic because all around Goodison Park you have no space, like compared to Munich where you have like tons of parking lots, autobahn around. Goodison Park you have no space. There are all around the park is pubs, schools. There's even a church. Like they couldn't build one of the corners of the stadium. They can't build because in the corner is a church. Did you know that? There's a chapel. So they are so limited. Obviously, it limits the club, but it also means that around the stadium you have all around the stadium is all locals.
Yeah.
It's not the great tourist experience that gets you a lot of international fans, but I love it. And I think it keeps the atmosphere and the vibe really authentic and local.
No, yeah, that's what I love about Everton as well. Like I went there at the Merseyside derby,
Yeah.
and when I walked there to the game, people walked out of their house. So I just saw them close the door, and they walked
So
1
sick,
minute
bro.
and went to the stadium.
Yeah, so you leave your house 5 minutes before kickoff, you're naked.
mental.
So-
Yeah, and that's what they do because they drink a lot, and then 2 minutes before they go in. So
Well, they basically fall out of the stadium really drunk after the game. I can't blame them with Everton's recent performances as well. Hey, and also one thing to add there, Luton. Have you been to Luton?
no.
I went there a year ago, and that's even crazier, even more of a, sorry to say this, objectively maybe a shithole of stadium, but I love it. These are the stadiums I love the most. I mean,
Okay.
you know that you literally have to go through a residential, like through a house for the away end, like, and then but then you're straight at the pitch. Compare that to Bayern. I would prefer my team playing away at Luton.
Yeah, but also I think a major part in the stadium where it is located is in the city center or not. Because
True.
I have been, for example, in Bilbao, Athletic Club, San Mamés. That is literally in the city center of Bilbao. It improves the atmosphere so much because all the fans will be in the city center having drinks at those little baristas where they have pinkstools and Zorito. It is such enjoyable to be there with the locals, and then a half hour before the game, you all walk to the stadium like 1 minute and you're there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Same in PSV Eindhoven.
I haven't been.
Such a like Eindhoven is a shit city. There's nothing to do there. Let's be honest. But the people are really nice. They love to party, and that's what you feel. Like you have the stadium, and then 800 meters ahead of that there is Stratums Eind, and that's where the PSV fans gather before the match.
Or what is it?
It's like a street with all pubs.
Okay.
And that's amazing. It improves the atmosphere 100%.
definitely. And that's one thing I have to say. I love German football, but we have a lot of modern stadiums that were rebuilt for the World Cup 2006, and they mostly built them outside of the city center. And that's one thing about German stadiums I don't really like.
No, I hate it. Dortmund as well. It's really far outside the city center.
Pretty much every, like, okay, the only stadium in the Bundesliga that immediately comes to my mind in the city, St. Pauli.
St. Pauli,
yeah.
I've
In
been there.
their district. Yeah, that's really, really central.
How would you say new stadiums compare to older ones? Is it a golden rule that the new ones are always better, or would you prefer to sit in a much older stadium where you can feel almost nostalgic being there?
Nah, bro. This might be a hot take, but I've made my list. Top stadiums I've visited, best experiences. I think none of them is new.
No,
Like, no. I maybe I might be alone here, but I so much prefer the old stadiums. I get why clubs build new ones. Don't get me wrong. Like, for example, maybe prime example, Tottenham. Their stadium might be the best in England, objectively, one of the best in the world. Like, super modern, obviously.
in terms of facilities.
In terms of facilities, like they have their own brewery, hotels, like top tier restaurants, all these VIP lounges. Of course, it's like an experience, but this just came across to me as really, really corporate, unauthentic. And then you compare that. I went to Luton one day, and the next day I went to Tottenham. Within 2 days, so much preferred the experience at Luton, which was cramped entrance. You almost couldn't get in. Like, it was so tight. As I said, like all around the stadium, it was not the nicest area, but it's authentic. It's local. The stadium, like the roof, they kind of built provisional things there to fit Premier League guidelines. I so much prefer that because it means that not half of the stadium is, sorry, no front here, but tourists. I'm a tourist as well, so that's pretty hypocritical. So in that case, but it means that the atmosphere stays local, stays authentic, and I think it makes for a much better atmosphere. What do you think? Do you prefer new ones or do you prefer old ones?
In my opinion, it really doesn't matter as long as the fan base is good. Like you have, for example, Mestalla, really old stadium in Valencia, but the atmosphere isn't that good there.
But it's iconic with these steep stands, isn't it?
Of course, like it's iconic, but and I love the stadium. Like if you are like really a sucker for football stadiums, then you will love to go to Mestalla.
Yeah.
But for me, it's but for me, it's more about the atmosphere. And I'm not sure if an old stadium improves it. For example, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, like their fans are not that good, but the stadium would allow an amazing atmosphere because you have a whole section behind the goal that is. It's almost a yellow wall. You could build a yellow wall there.
They could be like with a safe standing and that stuff, sure.
So it's just that the fans don't do it, but for me, it's not necessarily a problem that there's a new stadium.
Do you not think there is a correlation between like older grounds tend to have a better atmosphere? Of course, it depends on the fan base, but do you not think there's some connection?
Maybe look at Karlsruhe with their new stadium.
Sure.
They have a really huge curve now. And in the old stadium, it was more spread out.
Right. Okay, their old one was built park stadium.
Yeah. I think it usually depends on how the fans behave and how the fans want it to be an amazing atmosphere. In Poland, every stadium is almost brand new.
They're pretty modern, right? Yeah,
they are pretty modern. For example, when I went to Łódź, the stadium is brand new, but still the fans make an amazing. Rapid Wien.
Rapid Wien is new. Yeah, right. I agree.
I have countless examples.
It really comes down to the atmosphere, but I also think the club kind of can ruin the as West Ham. Obviously, they ruined their atmosphere. I think you kind of have to get it right as well. An example might be again Everton. On the pitch, they suck, but I think in terms of stadium, have you seen the new stadium like pictures?
I haven't seen it.
I think like I walked around the area. The new one is obviously can never replace like the charm of a 132-year-old Goodison Park, but I think they got like in terms of how close they can get. I think they're gonna be as close as it can be, honestly, because they built a new one in the docks of Liverpool, like right at the ocean, really historic area that they're going to rebuild now. They made sure they got like sound architects to replicate the sound of Goodison Park as much as possible. They got safe standing. They got standing there as well, which is really cool. Steep stands. It almost looks like a Bundesliga stadium. And they got like the old bricks, like replicated the old bricks from Goodison Park. So that's a really good example of how you can rebuild, still keep the charm.
Okay, but in this podcast, we are very honest. 2 weeks ago, you went to Everton. How was the atmosphere? Because people say to us that Everton has one of the best fan bases in England.
Yeah, bro. I'm rating the atmosphere 3 out of 10 there.
So
I really have to say, as much as I love the charm of Goodison Park, Everton fans don't like you believe me, bro. They sang twice an Everton chant for 5 seconds in 90 minutes. 90 minutes. And 2 times, it both was in the second half. They were like, after they got a chance, Everton, Everton. That's it. The rest, bro, even if it sounds crazy, not a single chant for Everton. Only like whistling the ref, whistling their own players after the game. So that was crazy. I know, I don't want to disrespect the fan base. I know it's really, they suffer a lot. So I can feel for them kind of, my club as well. And it's a historic club, but I feel like they're just fed up with the club. So sorry, Everton was the worst atmosphere I've seen this season.
And that's also a bit why we started this podcast, because a lot of people come up to me and ask like, hey, the Premier League, I have to go there. How do I get tickets? And then they buy sometimes packages for 500-600 euros with a flight. Yeah. But if you want to find good atmospheres, with all due respect, don't go to England. Because if you want to have like a proper stadium experience, watch good football, and enjoy the English culture, then go. But if you want to find an amazing atmosphere, what are you going to do in England?
There are so many other countries with better atmospheres. I agree. Everything around the stadium, like the pies and in the stands, and then the pub after the stadium. After the stadium, we went to the pub. Everton fans sang 100 times more in the pub, karaoke and all that stuff, than in the stadium. So I get the culture. But one of my friends, we had one ticket. We didn't have enough tickets. He had to buy one on like third-party website, which is, I never recommend that. And then he bought one for I think 170 or 180 euros to watch a shitty game where they lost 2-0 to Forest and no chance. So that's the thing. Yeah, they pay so much money, the tourists, and then they are often disappointed. They text me as well on DMs. Oh, I went to Premier League. It sucked. Yeah. So in this podcast, we kind of want to explain that a bit. Yeah.
Everton has an iconic stadium, but they lose a lot of games. Are there examples of certain stadiums that give teams an extra edge, like where they win a lot of home games? You have some experience or facts with that?
We've talked about this before, so I'm a nerd now. I've actually carried out a little study.
Bro, you are a nerd. Let's just be honest. You are a football nerd. You are the guy on school that with the big backpack in, like if the football stadium was a class, then you were the guy entering the stadium with a big backpack with all facts.
with all the sheets, and then there was one more guy in the stadium. Someone said on Twitter, that was so funny. Someone said, just a little excursus, quoted a tweet of mine where I talked about attendances again, as always, and he said, like, this guy's literal hobby in life is counting number of fans in a stadium.
But it is true.
Okay. So the thing is about the thing you said. Can stadiums give you a benefit on the pitch? I've carried out a study about the longest unbeaten home runs in the top 5 leagues in the 21st century.
Okay.
So the top 5 clubs. Do you have any guess who's in there? Top 5 clubs, longest unbeaten home runs.
Dortmund has to be in there.
Correct. And we start off, number 5 is Borussia Dortmund.
Okay.
2015 to 17, 924 days. Just keep in mind the stadium. So Dortmund is 5. 5th is Dortmund. 4th is Juve, 2013 to 15, 959 days unbeaten at home. 3rd is Inter, 2008 to 2010, Mourinho, 967 days. 2nd is Liverpool, 2017 to 2021, 4 years, 1,369 days unbeaten at Anfield. And then first place, any guess? The longest unbeaten streak, 21st century, top 5
Real
leagues.
Madrid?
Nope. Another Premier League side, another time Jose Mourinho. Chelsea, 2004 to 2008. They stayed 4 years unbeaten, 1,709 days, bro.
But what is the correlation with Chelsea and an amazing stadium?
That's the thing now. So what? It's hard to tell, but for these stadiums, I've noticed a few connections are there.
Okay.
Fans are always close to the pitch. Stamford Bridge, Anfield. None of these have a running track. Even Juventus Stadium is pretty architecturally well-built stadium.
Yeah.
No running track. Roof is really close above the upper stands for all of them. So they can get loud. Okay, Chelsea don't have great fans, but they can get loud. And I think all of them architecturally have the potential to be really loud and become like, how do you call it? Like cauldron. Hexenkessel, we say in Germany.
Yeah,
I love this word. Might be a hot take, but I think we will never see a team with a really long unbeaten run in the top league with an Olympic stadium. This is a weird take.
There you go, but the podcast has now become scientific.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We're now scientists.
Okay.
Let us know what you think about that. But I think it's an interesting study. And then we're talking about top 5 unbeaten runs, but now I want to hear your top 5 stadiums that you've been to, and I'll give you mine as well.
Okay.
Start with number 5.
We start both with number 5.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm just gonna do it top out of head, so I might forget one, but I'm just gonna start with Real Betis, Benito Villamarín.
Ooh, okay.
Have you been?
I've been. I didn't like it.
Oh man, the stadium, I love it. And let me explain
the stadium,
why.
yeah.
Let me explain why because that's the question.
Yeah.
So let me explain why I love going to Real Betis in Estadio Benito Villamarín. First, when you arrive, 3 hours before kickoff, go 100 meters beyond the stadium. You have a grass pitch.
Right.
I think there are 6-7 football pitches long, completely full with people who have a beer outside, lit off a lot of fireworks. They also have a lot of smoke bombs in Spain.
That happened when you were there?
Outside
when did you go?
a lot. Derby.
What year?
Real Betis Sevilla.
Yeah, but what year?
2 years ago. So then, 1 hour before kickoff, the whole crowd moves to the stadium and they wait in one long line for the bus to arrive. But keep in mind, when you are standing there, you see the stadium, and it is a really old-fashioned, high with rocks stadium.
It looks really nice.
It's almost a gladiator stadium.
Yeah, it looks
in my
sick.
opinion.
It looks sick, to be fair.
Then, when you enter the stadium, it's just beautiful on a warm summer night. It is evening, and then they start a hymn to. Then you hear echoing in the whole stadium. It's just, for me, to go there. If you are a sucker for football stadiums, go to Estadio Benito Villamarín.
Okay, but how did you think the atmosphere was honest.
I went at a derby. I loved it. I even put it, I think, in my top 5 that year.
Wow.
Because there is just so much passion there. And I had such a good time. I was surrounded by a lot of passionate people. And the hymn before the match, like, I just have...
Okay.
It's a bit... Now I wouldn't rank it even in my top 15 because I have seen now so much more. But I know just at the time, I love Spain and I just love their culture, man. I'm just a Spanish guy.
A Spanish guy, bro. Bro's not Dutch anymore.
Okay, but you're number 5.
Actually, yeah, I'm a bit shocked. I need to calm down because for this one we completely disagree. That's crazy. I mean, I ranked.
But we can disagree, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
We are broodies,
no, I think it's really interesting. I know that you're talking the truth, but I just watched a completely different game than maybe picked the wrong game.
But that's what we said in the last podcast. Yeah, like we are not there 34 games, and I went at a derby.
You went derby. I went against Girona, which I think Girona they were even first or second that game. So I thought it was a good game, but it was right before Christmas. Fans, I don't know, they kind of didn't want to sing. Maybe I've just picked the wrong game. But I actually ranked it third to last. In my
they were awful in your opinion.
In my opinion, they were not great. But anyway, it's about stadiums, and the stadium is great. I agree. My number 5 is actually also in Spain. This might be a bit of a mainstream pick, but I just can't leave it out of the top 5. It's Camp Nou. Yeah, I just can't leave it out. I mean, I went to the last El Clasico before they tore it down at Camp Nou. But the stadium, I mean, you know it. You've been, right, Camp Nou?
I've only been with a stadium tour.
Okay, yeah, but still, it's actually it was in a way worse condition than they always show on social media. I get why they renovated it. It completely fell apart. Like, bro, the thing is, I went with my girlfriend. And we had 2 tickets. We were second row. That was really, really crazy, being like this deep at the pitch. In front of me was only Barca reserves. Like Pedri was just in front of me. That was crazy. But the thing is, the stadium is so weird and the architecture is so strange. My girlfriend was right next to me and the seat didn't exist. Like she had to stand. Like, I stood with her. But the seat, like she had a ticket with a seat, and they said, "Okay, this seat doesn't exist," but it was on the ticket.
What?
So this stadium was a complete mess. But of course, like no roof, not up to date anymore, obviously. But I think the vibe, Barca, for me, it's just prime Barca. You sit in the 3rd tier, 100 meters from the pitch. You can see a little dot on the pitch, which is dribbling around every single player, and that guy is called Leo Messi. Night sky, 25 degrees. You see the clear sky, the stars, and you see these 100,000, almost 100,000 people all around you, below you, above you. It's crazy. Like the architecture. Let's not talk about the fans are maybe not that great.
No, but I think
the architecture, bro.
I think we differ a lot, bro.
Yeah,
I think
you don't like Camp Nou.
No, and I
for me
think
it's iconic, bro.
And I think we have only different stadiums. So
I
want to hear your number 4.
My number 4 is actually not much introduction needed. Goodison Park. I just talked about that a lot. Old as fuck, bro. Like most uncomfortable stadium experience I've ever had. Like the seats. Did you see the seats?
I've been to Goodison Park.
Yeah, you went.
I rated also really high, but not in my top 5.
Did you see Did you get on the wooden seats?
Bro, I was in the standing section behind the goal.
Okay, that's crazy. But did you see the wooden seats that they have on the main stand, bro? No. They are literally. If I didn't know better, I would think they never renovated these seats since 1892. You have pillars there that block some of the seats' views, right? Yeah. You couldn't see the whole pitch. There was 2 big pillars. I'd say 10% of the pitch I couldn't see, which is obviously not an issue. But even nowadays, you can't do that anymore. So, but I love these things. Maybe for me, it's just I love these old weird things that make a stadium experience objectively worse.
Yeah.
But I think crazy charm.
Whereas in my opinion, I feel sometimes like because the stadium is old, we have to kind of like it, and I just
don't. You don't have to.
No, but I don't.
But that's great for this episode that we have such different opinions. So let me know your top 4.
My number 4 is Stadion de Kuip in Rotterdam.
Okay.
Have you been?
I haven't, sadly. I got last time I got ticket, couldn't
go.
The
thing is with the Kuip, I've also been there at a neutral game. I've been there with the Netherlands when they played one game. But also with a neutral game, like it was a final, Spain versus Croatia. It just has this magical, nostalgic feeling when it is evening. The roof of the Kuip is really
it's also
unique.
Like that.
Yeah,
it's also really
so it really
tilted.
Enforces the noise. I would make a petition to play every Champions League final in Stadion de Kuip.
Wow, do you think they're going to do that? UEFA, did you hear that?
Honestly, that would make it so much more magical. And I feel like when you go there at a big game, you understand what the stadium does for the fans. And that's
True.
why the club wanted to build another stadium and the fans were so against it.
How shocking.
But the Kuip has to be in at your bucket list.
Yeah, I think if I'd been there, this would be in my top 5 for sure. I can imagine. So I definitely want to go there.
You learned something from me.
I'm learning, and I have been wanting to go there for a long time. So I think I see the point fully. Yeah. Do you want to give your number 3 then?
My number 3, I already named it in a previous episode, but the Betzenberg, Kaiserslautern.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, okay.
That is not maybe the oldest stadiums. It is an old stadium, but that's for me, something that is unique is staying in my mind forever, and that's what's in my top always.
Yeah, I see that.
So the Betzenberg, you just have to experience it. Walking up the mountain, you see the stadium like doom up. It is really steep. The mountain is really steep.
Have to, after you're up there, you're already dead, bro.
And it's such a like as an away fan, I say that also in my video, like as an away fan, it must feel almost scary to come up there. Like, of course, they are not scary in Germany, but like as an away fan, especially in the evening, you have to go through some forests, some bushes. You walk up to the stadium. It's just such an amazing experience. It has to be in my top 3 ever.
It's a really hostile atmosphere for away fans. Yeah, you say.
Yeah. Kaiserslautern is amazing.
Really cool pick, man.
What's your 3?
I'm feeling almost mainstream now with mine because I stay in Liverpool.
You are mainstream. What's your number 3?
I'm not mainstream, bro. What the fuck?
What's your number 3?
I stay in Liverpool. Anfield. I think no top 5 without Anfield. People say, like a lot of people say, it's overrated. Been there more than once. I've played there myself, but there were no fans, sadly.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah, that was goosebumps, bro, but no fans. But I've watched the games there as well, and I feel like in terms of optimizing the stadium for maximum atmosphere, kind of feel like Liverpool have mastered that game, which with like the little details, as I said, that the roof is really like the roof design is really like it's not random. It's really like they thought this through to keep the noise in. They have even like we did the stadium tour as well. Even in the away dressing room, they made it. They have no sound isolation in the away dressing room, so that the sound from the cop goes directly into the away dressing room, so that the away players are scared.
But is it allowed?
Bro, the dressing room of Liverpool is insane. I made a short on that, which got like 10 million views. It even smells in there. Believe me, it fucking smells in there.
But is it allowed?
I don't even know how they do it. They did like it smells. The seat. I guess it is. The seats are like so uncomfy. They have no like weird hospital lights. The sound thing, and they have like every single detail in the stadium is geared towards making Liverpool win and making the away team scared and lose.
If I were to host Liverpool in a game, I would just throw shit under the seats because they deserve it, man. What the hell is that? That's cheating.
I don't know. It's crazy. I don't. Is it cheating? Is it cheating? I don't know. I think it's really smart.
Let us know in the comments if it's cheating. Are we
sure.
leaving England for your number 2?
We are, yeah. We're not no England anymore for the last 2. We're leaving England, but we're not leaving You Never Walk Alone. Okay, that sounds so...
Here we go.
That sounds so cringe.
Is it Dortmund?
Yeah, Westfalenstein. For me, the fans might be a bit overrated now. I don't say they're the best in Germany, the best in the world. It's not true. But come on. A standing terrace with... Okay, now the nerd comes out again. 24,454 fans on one terrace standing. For me, the yellow wall, a stadium that has a yellow wall just can't be outside the top 5. It's really electric, and especially on the big European nights, Champions League nights, you can see, even though they have their problems, the fans don't all sing, but you can see the potential of this stadium is unlimited.
Yeah, if I have to say, I've seen a lot of clips of Dortmund before I went, and when I went, the Gelbe Wand was even more impressive. Like it is.
So you liked it?
I liked it.
So you're not a hater of Dortmund fans?
No, the Gelbe Wand is een fanvriendschap with Köln. So.
Yeah, that as well. You can't.
But like the Gelbe Wand is insane to see in real life.
It's
like,
crazy.
Every time you go there, you are like, okay, well, yeah, those are a lot of people on one terrace.
Yeah, and then they might not jump all game, but when they do, like there's some moments of the game when they have momentum and they jump all at the same time. It's just crazy. So if you guys have one chance to visit German football, I still say go for Dortmund because
Yeah.
of the stadium.
Yeah.
But now, you're second and you're first.
Okay,
I'm hyped.
so my number 2, Stade Velodrome.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Come on.
The architecture of that stadium and how they renovated it, that's even more a big plus. Because
For the Euros, right?
yeah, but they kept the architecture. And you have like the Virage Süd, Virage Noord. Oh man, and then it is so big. But it feels compact, and that's what I love. So it's a really big stadium. When you're all the way up there, you feel a bit far from the pitch, but still, because of the roof and because of the architecture, it is such a volcanic experience.
Mhm.
That's how I would,
Yeah, I believe that.
how I would explain it. Like, Stade Velodrome is a volcano that during the match can explode.
That's insane. You said that really nicely, bro.
Thank you.
Wow.
Bro.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like-
for me. That's for me. And there's nothing else to say. Like, go watch my videos.
Watch your videos. But
Ah,
you have an even bigger volcano, right? Your first place must be an even crazier volcano.
it isn't. It isn't a bigger volcano. But I just love the stadium. I remember going there, and the club asked me like, "Hey, do you want to see it empty?" And I was like, "Okay, of course. Let's go in."
Yeah, okay, I know what you're saying. I
And
know
then
what
I
you're going to
went
say
in.
now. Can I make a guess?
I'm 100% sure you're not going to guess it right.
So it's not Sporting.
It's not Sporting.
Okay. Then surprise me, bro.
Stade San Mamés Bilbao.
Okay.
Holy moly, what a beautiful stadium that is. It is, the title of this episode is going to be something with cathedrals. And that for me is a cathedral. I mean, it is a red sea. The seats are really close to the pitch. From the outside, it is it has a almost majestic vibe. It's a bubble. It is right in the city center, which I also think is really important.
Yeah.
And if I ask myself, like, where do you want to go again? And I love Real Sociedad, don't get me wrong, but I want to go one more time to San Mamés.
That's a really, really nice choice. It always reminds me of that. You know that one World Cup stadium in Mexico in Monterrey?
Yeah.
Looks similar to San Mamés, right? Kinda.
Yeah, but San Mamés is too unique.
So, sorry?
San Mamés is too unique, bro. Come on.
I know, but I kind of feel like even they in North America, they took inspiration from San Mamés. Maybe, I don't know.
And you're number 1.
My number 1, well, you talked about cathedrals, right? Cathedral football. So I'm going to just say mine is an Italian cathedral, a Duomo. For me, the most iconic stadium in Europe, San Siro, bro.
Yeah.
San Siro, bro. Like, come on.
I understand that.
Like, come on. I love Juve, so it means a lot that I say this. I really don't like Inter. Milan's all right. But for me, there's a lot of iconic stadiums in Europe. Spain, Wembley, Bernabeu. But for me, San Siro, I mean, like, it's... Sorry to say this, but objectively, we all know it's probably the biggest shithole that's falling apart. Like, in terms of big stadiums, you've been...
I think with San Siro, I think it's... in terms of experience, etc., I'm just going to say here it's overrated. And let me explain why.
Okay.
One, San Siro. It is insanely far out of the city center. When you go to a game of Inter or AC Milan,
Yeah, but bro...
be aware you are not able to go back to your hotel by public transport. So that's one
true.
big-
That's true.
I fucking hate to go there. 2, the Curva Sud and Curva Noord at Inter and AC Milan, it just... Because of San Siro, it doesn't live up to the potential they have in terms of atmosphere. Because they are in the second tier of the stadium, they are really far away from the players, and it's really spread out. Whereas...
It's a
as they
massive
were-
stadium, of course. You
Yeah,
want,
but
you want them
in-
to have a 40k stadium, so it's closer.
I don't know, man. I just
But you want
feel
them-
like the fans don't get the potential with San Siro. That's what I get. The away fans are getting completely shit on.
That's normal in Italy.
So San Siro, like, and I also from the outside, because I played FIFA, it is a maybe nostalgic stadium, but for me, seeing San
wait
Siro
a second, bro. You're saying this is only nostalgic because of FIFA,
in my
bro?
mind.
Whoa, that's the biggest insult to San Siro ever.
Like with San
No
Siro,
way you said that.
I just, okay, it's amazing to have been there once. Like if you are a sucker for stadiums, go, and the atmosphere will be 9 out of 10 times good. When you go to AC Milan or Inter, both are insane, but I think it is heavily overrated.
Bro, that's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
maybe I am the only
It's
one.
crazy, bro. I mean, the only point I get from that is they might not have their full potential. They might not live up to their full potential because of the stadium limits the fans. Sure, these tiers, that's kind of bad. I mean, they want to build a new one, obviously, for that reason as well. But bro, like this, in terms of, let's talk about aura. Maybe it's a cringe term, but aura-wise, there's no stadium in Europe that comes close to San Siro. And I'm gonna die on this hill. Like it's a shithole. You can literally, if you look around, you might be able to take some bricks out and you take them home.
You can take your seat home.
It falls apart, bro. But that's maybe I'm just, as you say, a sucker for stadiums. A sucker for I'm nostalgia merchant. But bro, walking up these round tunnels that you might think you're in a parking lot, but these 4 towers there in the corners, San Siro. Then you have the red like the pillars. Then you have the roof that's kind of falling apart as well. But you have the Curva Sud Milan, bro. European night, Champions League, 9 p.m. Wednesday, Milan. UCL knockout stages. You go there, San Siro. This is as crazy as it gets, as goosebumps as it gets.
I don't know.
In football culture. No, bro. Believe me, bro. Have you seen a Champions League game?
Bro, I've been to the derby. And I've been to Inter Milan, Barcelona, Champions League.
And the Derby della Madonnina wasn't crazy enough for you. In San Siro. You didn't get goosebumps there. You cannot tell me you didn't get goosebumps at San Siro. At the Derby della Madonnina.
Not. It just isn't for me the greatest rivalry.
It doesn't have to be the great rivalry.
For me, that derby, it just, because the fans were at the second tier and so spread out in the length. Like, I have been to stadiums. Velodrome is much more impressive than San Siro for me. Much more.
It just doesn't have the vibe, the aura for me. I mean, just looking at it, I haven't been.
But we can disagree. We can disagree.
Yeah, of course, bro. But for me, like 80,000 is a temple of culture. You just get soaked in. But that's a good ranking, I think, from both of us.
I hope for our listeners there is something value in it.
Wait a second, bro. I want to hear one flop from you before we go to the myths.
Okay.
Before we go to debunking myths, bro, I want to hear one flop stadium. A stadium where you say, this just sucks.
Then I would just go for Allianz Arena by München.
You just don't like it.
I loved the stadium in terms of how great it seems from the inside, but it just felt like a cinema.
Yeah. Now I get you. Kind of soulless.
So if you told me, let's go to the cinema, I would have believed you.
What film are we watching? Bayern PSG. Yeah, fair. That's fair.
It was Bayern Dortmund, der Klassieker. You took me.
Right, we were together. Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so you are dying to tell your flop.
I'm dying, bro, because I'm a CEO of hating Berlin. We know that. For me, it's just Olympiastadion Berlin, bro. So we both pick a big German stadium.
Yeah, but how can you say that?
It doesn't really fit with my vibe of feeling old stadiums, right?
It's beautiful in the evening.
It might be beautiful, but I'm talking about the fan experience. Going there, watching a game there. I mean, I've watched a lot of games there. Every year I watch the DFB Pokal final there. I've watched Euro final there. Of course, it's a big stadium for big stages, but it's just, bro, you're 100,000 meters away from the pitch, and then there's even like a graben between you and the pitch as well, like a trench, and there's the running track, then there's something else, then it's the pitch.
When you were at row 14 or higher, you have a perfect view on the pitch. I've been 3 times.
When you're on the upper tiers.
No, even in the lower tier.
I just don't like it, bro.
And the old school of Hertha.
It looks nice. It looks really nice when it's lit up at night. But for me, watching a game in that stadium is just, you can watch on TV. I can just watch on TV. I'll sit there in the center. I'll watch on my phone because I'll get a closer view at the pitch.
Wow, we disagree. Insane.
Sorry, but yeah, okay, but that's
okay.
But now,
time for a segment debunking myths.
Debunking myths.
A stadium atmosphere is solely dependent on the fans.
Ooh.
Well, you've been to Goodison Park, so you can talk about it.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to name another example here. First of all, of course, no, it's not solely dependent on the fans. Stadium architecture plays a huge role. And I'm going to use the example of Panathinaikos.
Ooh.
Hey, the jersey even fits. I swear I didn't plan this.
Owaka Stadium.
Yeah, you like that stadium.
I love the architecture, but I hated it because what you said, and that's what I agree on, is the running track and how far the fans are. That stadium is maybe a prime example.
That's the
like
thing.
we gave with West Ham, like how they are performing in Leo Forest, which
Yeah.
you can talk about, and how they perform at Owaka. Because someone tweeted at us when I said like Panathinaikos disappointed, and they disappointed. Like I'm speaking factual
That's
because
him saying,
even
right?
fans,
I don't say that.
even fans told me that they disappointed that night. So
In
come
terms
on.
of fans, yeah, okay. At Oaxaca against Olympiacos in the Olympic Stadium, to give some
Yeah,
context.
so
That's
it
what
was
you mean, right?
it was the eternal derby, and the fans disappointed for the atmosphere, where they're
Fair.
famous for. Because everyone told me, yeah, you have to go to Panathinaikos, Olympiacos, eternal derby, and the atmosphere disappointed. But you have a prime example.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I went to obviously there are other stadiums as well, and for me, Panathinaikos and also Hertha, two clubs have great fan bases in my opinion. Hertha always gets underrated. In terms
Hertha
of
is
fan base.
heavily underrated.
Why do they get underrated? Because they have a shit stadium. Because their stadium, in the Olympic stadium that they play in, not possible to live up to their potential. And Panathinaikos, same thing. They play in Oaxaca now, in the Olympic Stadium of Athens. Hertha play in the Olympic Stadium of Berlin. Both have a running track, and I think a bad stadium can kill a club's atmosphere.
The more advanced the stadium technology, the better the fan experience. So, for example, you have like these insanely big screens.
Like Bernabeu now, all
Yeah.
around 360 degrees.
Do they improve the fan experience?
Depends. What do you think is what do you think experience means? I mean, the experience, you can see all the stats on there, the lineups. You can get your beers filled up from the bottom in Tottenham. You can drink beers from their own brewery. Is that experience for you, or is experience the atmosphere, the goosebumps, the vibes? I think it's different definitions here.
I disagree so much with this myth because, I'm going to name the example and maybe people are going to hate for it. With, for example, Sporting, they don't have a big screen in the stadium. They only have behind the goal the time when you see how much time there is played and how much left. You are so focused on the game and action. Imagine having a screen in the stadium and people during the game show the highlight of something. I think it ruins the experience. Like you want to be as focused as much on the game, on the pitch. And all those big screens, like this is going to be again a petition. So people, please sign up. Let's remove all screens in football stadiums.
Every screen.
Like every screen.
Okay, how many likes
And
on this
just-
episode until we start this petition?
Let's go for 100 likes.
Okay, and then we start the petition.
And
Remove
I'm going to start
all
a
screens.
petition. Because come on, man. It focus. All you want to see as a fan is how much time there's left. That's all
but
I want to know.
I agree, and I also agree that all these techniques don't improve the atmosphere. But I think we're not mainstream here in terms of opinion. Like, do you think many people would sign this petition to not have any screens in the stadium? That's what I mentioned
Hardcore
earlier.
fans.
Yeah, hardcore fans. But I think many people also go casuals. They want these crazy fancy things. That's the point. For some people, this might be the experience, what
Yeah.
we love, and for some people, it might be something else, having a high-tech thing.
Time for the segment. What the fucking hell is that?
Let me introduce you to the Estadio Hernando Siles. Do you know about that one?
I've never heard of it.
Never been. How have you not been to that place?
Is it close?
It's in the capital of Bolivia, La Paz. Okay, I haven't been either. But this is crazy. This is a crazy place because we talked about location of stadiums, right? This stadium is the national stadium of Bolivia, of the national team, and it's located on an altitude, wrote that down, 3,637 meters above sea level. 3,637. So where do you
moly.
usually go skiing? For me, it's like 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5. So
Yeah.
tomorrow I go skiing at 2.5.
And that's high. That's quite high.
Bro, I am a bit scared of heights. That's
even
high
there,
enough
yeah.
for me, bro.
And even there, I think from 2.5, your body already starts like not reacting the same way when you do physical hardcore
Oh yeah,
exercise.
your breath is
Like the oxygen is not the same, and they play like World Cup qualifiers against Brazil, against Argentina. Messi played there. Messi vomited on the pitch when he played there. There's a clip of him. And Neymar, when he played there with Brazil, he posted a video of the Brazil players wearing oxygen masks in the dressing room.
No
and he
way.
posted and he said like, "Yo, this is inhuman conditions. We can't play this." Neymar wants the stadium banned. Basically, he said we can't play there anymore. And the crazy thing is that now, recently, they have played in even another stadium in El Alto, close to the capital of La Paz. And this one, I've checked it, they've played their last World Cup qualifier games there. It is 4,150 meters.
No.
Bro, they play on this.
They're cheating.
I don't. That's the thing. Like their players are kind of used to it, but that makes this stadium, I think, the most hostile big stadium to play in football. Do you think that's unfair?
I 100% am convinced this is cheating.
Cheating?
It's almost like taking doping.
Yeah, but the thing is, their country, the big cities are all located that high. So should they play outside of the country?
At least at a point where case studies can show evidence that, for example, at 1500 meters there's not much advantage. But there are case studies where they say, okay, from 2,500 meters, you have an advantage.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, the Bolivian players have to play there as well. Do you
Yeah,
think
okay,
because
but they are used to it, so
yeah, that's the thing.
It's cheating.
It's really a tricky topic.
But yeah, let's just ask our viewers and listeners as well what they think about it,
Yeah.
and comment it down below.
Definitely. And we have to go there one day together. Watch a game. let's confirm the deal right now.
10,000 subscribers.
10,000 subs, and we
Go to Bolivia.
to Bolivia to watch a game at 4,000 meters.
And I bring my Oscar mask.
I'll do that as well. I bring my skis. There's no snow there.
Okay, and then the final segment, subscriber questions. You have a question for me?
I've got one. Actually, Alex
Because you
had
are a
one.
subscriber.
Do you think there's a perfect size for a stadium in terms of what makes for the best atmosphere? Do you think it can ever get too big to have a good atmosphere in a stadium?
I think, with a lot of exceptions, of course, I think 30,000 to 50,000 is always a good experience somehow. So if you are looking for a random experience, so imagine you want to go to a random experience and maybe you can have search filters and you say, I want to go to a stadium as ChatGPT that has minimum 30,000 and maximum 50,000. I think you will end up in a great stadium with a good atmosphere. Almost 9 out of 10 times. And there are exceptions. For example, Willem II in the Netherlands, they have a really small stadium, but amazing fans. And I think you have a great experience there as well. But I think in that range, you will have a good experience. So Alex, try it and let us know.
Go for it, man.
I have a question for the both of us.
Okay.
It is from someone that listened to our first episode. His name is Siever H. Roon. I hope I pronounced it correct. It is. I pronounce it the English way, but he asked, "What is our bucket list stadium we want to visit?" And he mentioned you cannot name Boca or River Plate.
Oh man, I was going to mention that.
He was on
I was
to you.
going to
He
mention
was on
Mas
to you.
Monumental.
So,
Okay. Well, I still have one, and I hopefully will visit it next year. Estadio. Which one am I going to name? Azteca, Mexico City.
Yeah?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
That stadium is hosting the opening game of the World Cup. I have to be there. They're the only stadium that will have hosted 3 World Cups, and both Maradona in '86 and Pelé in 1970 won the World. Like the OG goats won the World Cup there. I just have to go there.
For me, Stadium Maracana.
Yeah.
In Red Star Belgrade. I don't know if I pronounced it correct, but Red Star Belgrade, a game of them, and at their stadium, I haven't been, and it's my maybe number one bucket list.
Wow.
So maybe
Derby.
soon a video
You want to see the derby?
at the channel. Yeah. That was episode 4 already. So we see you next Wednesday.
That's going to be a heated one. See you there, guys.